Good morning. Fired up here. That's all I got. Still standing here. That's good. Yeah, stream chat up. Just catching up on some messages. Looks like I don't really message a lot, like whisper on Twitch. Some people know how to reach them on that. What are we missing? We're missing some music. Let's see, anything else? All right. So last night, I was able to get it to the point where I could actually get the contents of emails that were coming through. If anybody's wondering, we're working on a build bot. I'll show you where that is in just a moment. Okay, we're going to go to the browser, so watch the black screen here. Uh-oh, it's a longer than normal black screen. There we go. Also gonna take a moment to source that here. Alright, so we're building on this guy, Hal. I like to think of a Space Odyssey. This is the little robot that controls everything. That's Hal. Now, what we're doing with Hal is making sure that Hal can respond to things that are happening on the lists. So, for instance, in here I had a little thing where I wanted to send a patch, and Sorsa has this neat ability where you can just email patches in, right, using the get to email flow. Basically, Git is wonderful in that you can just send patches to other people, and they can update their databases and whatnot. Okay, so we've got a patch in there, right? And what would be nice is if I could respond to this and say, yes, make it so, Hal. And instead of saying testing 2150, which was the time that I sent that message last night, 9 hours ago, I could say I have a set of, let's say, commands. Where is it? Here's Bors. Bors is the one they use on the Rust compiler stuff. But basically just use this as guidance and say, you know what, let's Bors merge. So I'd like to be able to do that, at least get Bors merge or Hal merge. That's one of the commands that would be available. So reviewed, look good, and I would like it to then say it's approved. I'd like it to go through and mark any of the patches that are in that list as approved. and then I would like it to kick off a build task. And that build task is going to go through the patches on that list, pull them in, apply them, run the CI, and merge it if all's good, and then come back and mark everything on that list as done. What was it in here? It'd come through again and say, this here is then applied. I wanted to go through that flow. And we are at the step here. I'm getting slightly high frame drop rate, but we'll see if that slows down a bit. I'm at like 6.8%, 6.7. I don't know, it's probably like Firefox updating or something. Who knows? Not all of the software asks me if it should update. Yeah, see, this one, it's ready to update, or whatever. Okay, so we're gonna go to the code, and only if that becomes an issue am I gonna pay attention to that. Okay. Now, in here, no, not in OBS, in here, I've created a bunch of different objects that represent the different objects that we receive. So when we get a post, hopefully we'll get an email, and on that email we'll have things like thread ID and envelope. Envelope has the entire message in it. I use email parser on that. The email parser then is going to look for messages addressed to Hal. That's going to be in a webhook. I moved some stuff around last night. I don't even think I'm asking for it to be received. But here, we're logging out the email body, which is here, email body, testing 1, 2, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. The other thing that I did was I added mods. So in your HAL config, you can specify who the mod is or who the mods are for a given list. So only the people that SourceSet recognizes and that are responding to these email lists are going to be able to be mods. I could put email addresses in there. I just haven't. I thought this was good enough for me, and it'll get me through where I want this to be. But if somebody else wants that to be emails, it's not a big lift. All right, so now we have the body. Next step is to look for HAL commands. Now, one way would be to look through the body line by line, seeing if it begins with @HAL. That's one way of doing it. How else should we do it? I'm gonna take my jacket off. Oops, and I'm dropping stuff. There we go. I think that is probably the simplest way. Inspect the lines. If we find something at the very beginning or somewhere that begins with HAL, we just pay attention and parse that line. Do not think we should have multiple HAL configs or HAL commands in a message, so we probably just stop at the first one. What is body? What does get body return? Oh yes, and I picked up another crate, yet another crate. And this one is called email format. It's just for parsing not MIME stuff, emails. And when calling get body here, it returns an option body. The body. Oh, I think we're just doing a toString on it. Doesn't look like there's very much on it. To owned, toString. All right. So it must be a string there. Let's go find string. Does string have any goodies? Now we can split. Lines. Iterator over the lines of a string. String slices. Alright, so we can just call lines and iterate over it. How do we look? I've been thinking of doing like a split and whatnot. Okay, so let a message line. Body.lines. Then if message line, what else do we have? Like a contains starts with? There is a starts with. At hal space. And then we'll break. So we'll do something here with this line, and that's it. Okay, we're going to do that. Yep, I know you don't exist yet. We're going to do that. Once that happens, we'll break out of this loop, and the function ends. So we're done at that point. So that should be in the process. Some of it's going to be making HTTP requests. Process a command. Let's at least log the command out. Log info. Trace info. Oh, we also need like the list ID and some other stuff, don't we? Some context here. Mark that as public. There we go. Starting to think that there should be some sort of state for Hal. So Hal would be able to tell if it's got some sort of race condition going on. Let's say two people. What if two people approve a message at the same time? What do we do? If two people send a message, it's going to process these concurrently. Oh, two people respond. I'll merge. I could have a queue of things that all works through. I think I'd rather have, say over here, maybe some sort of tasks controller. Something that matches up over here. Where's too many things open. Here, with the builds. Because Hal's going to be submitting manifests. They're going to get merged, or they're going to get processed, and the result of which is going to hit the mailing list. And then Hal should be able to say, "Oh, this failed," or respond to that. I think builds also has a webhook and can tell us when something is finished. So Hal will get notified again saying, "Hey, we received something for this build. Successful or not, failed or success." So yeah, I think Hal should probably wait until it gets that notification to continue on, maybe with some sort of timeout. Who knows? Maybe I want to rely on SourceHut and their APIs. But I'll also kind of plan for failure there too. I don't want to have to be rebooting hell. Okay, let's get a build kicked off first. Just trying to, still in the browser. There we go. Just trying to think through because what if we did have a howl? What would we put in it? We would put in some sort of active tasks, active builds, work queues. Project work queue. I imagine how pretty much just interfacing with builds and needing to get told when to do something and when there's a result. Okay, how would we represent a work queue? We might have a task. What do they call them in source set? Manifests? Build tasks. In here we would have something like the list ID. What to do. Say the command. State. Active or pending. So you don't take something off the queue until it's done. I kind of like that. All right, let's do that. I think this is okay, and then we'll have in here probably some sort of vector of tasks. And that'll be per queue. Oops. Hash map of list for that, or project, whatever we want to call it. Okay, that seems good enough. I'm surprised that Rust formatter wants to indent the first line here, but not the second ones. All right, let's put this in a. Oh. It's a public struct. Is that going to be the same as the project? We'll see if we need it. That's also a string. That's the line from the email. Yeah, we should probably parse that into some sort of enum. And then state. Let's say that's enum state. This is active or pending. Yeah, okay, I think that's going to change later. The command will. Not sure on the string yet. Vector of build tasks, I think makes sense. Sender collections, hash map. Oh, and vector. Is vector just always available? When we create a HAL, I think I want to reconfigure the keys. We're going to pass in projects. So we'll get that. And how do we do that? We let work. equal to projects. Map config. We're going to map this into a tuple of config dot configs don't really have like a cool name, do they? Config ID or something. I mean, they have a couple things, but not like a not like something that we can identify by. A self on there, and then we'll have self dot Let's try to move that. What does join do? All right, now we have our hash map, and we need to be able to tell how to do something. So Hal at this point is going to create a new task. I guess we could have created a task ahead of time. Why don't we do that? Self.work dot insert. No, we want the entries. Dot entry for project ID. Is it entry mutable? Take a peek. No. Hash map has entry. It's always going to be occupied due to how this is set up. Occupy and modify. There we go. What do we get? We get a value. So this is going to be the tasks. What's that vector? Okay. So we need a mutable self there, project ID. So we're just going to push the task onto the end of that. And then what we'll do is we'll check to see at the beginning of the list whether or not it's active or whatever. Let's check to see the beginning and make sure that... How's this going to work with concurrency? So we're going to start sharing this. No, we don't want this clonable. There's only one HAL. I'm guessing we probably want to protect the hash map to work. Standard sync arc, and we're going to use standard, no. Tokyo mutex. There we go. Oh, collect can't do it. We want this. Two of those. There we go. Not gonna do it, huh? Arc new with a mutex new on the work. Self to lock await. And modify. And that looks pretty good. Push, pop, leak. Vectors leaking? Leaky vectors. This function is mainly useful for data that lives for the remainder of the program's life. Drain. How do we get the first element in here? It's using an iterator. Chunks first. There we go. Alright, we'll get the first one. Of course, there's going to be something there. We just put something in there. Well, unless another thread stole it. Let's see, if task.state is, let's just say, just ask task if they're active. Sure, add a constructor. We're not going to take state there. There's no sense in bringing in a pending, an active state. A private.
Destruction.
So this should probably be another function, shouldn't it? Hmm. Why doesn't that like that? First commutable. Oh, self.work. Work isn't. It's a hash map. That's right. I see. See, we could get the entry there. We could do something else. All right. Let's take a step back. So we have please. We modify it and toss the task in there. Then we'll probably say self.run and await that. It's kind of preemptive, right? Just say, go do something. Something's changed. So at this point, it seems like we should. Shoot. You gotta tell me. I'll leave you in the browser. All right, so here we got the please function. I split out run, a little task thing. We're now in the process of. All right, now here we get the hash map. At that point, we have the hash map entry. We're going to do the same thing as before. Project ID .to owned. I'm gonna modify it. Self work lock. We get the entry and modify. I think I need a curly brace and something else here. It's active, we do something. Otherwise, we don't. Close that. Plus a semicolon on it. If let some task, that's right. It's going to be a little weird calling run task from inside of here. Especially if we await it. Let's see. Ah, yes, and that's not an async function. Huh. We'll just match on that instead. The entry. Comment this out for a moment. With the match arms. Come on, give me my match arms. Yeah, that's supposed to be. I look at the entry API. Occupied or vacant. Alright, that's grading. Missing match arm. Yes, fill it in for me. Drat. Vacant should be occupied. Entry on the other hand. Okay. That's tasks. Occupied entry. How do we run the task? What do we run? Task, list ID, command. So we need to look at the command and do something for the list. Probably kick off some build or something that's coming out of the, like a config or whatnot. At this point, I almost want to work backwards from the build. Have something built up that can kick off a build. I have some pieces that I haven't thought through here. Like, where do I get the, where's that, the build manifest? Oh, you're supposed to be able to submit a manifest. And you can submit them to the APIs, and that's what HAL is going to do. We'll post. one of these jobs here. It's cool that we can add tags because we should be able to identify it with maybe our tasks. Hey, this task ID is done. I thought this also had webhooks for builds. So if we go to meta, the man pages here, general documentation, read boring stuff. Oh yeah, that is boring stuff. Let's just go to his account. No, I don't want to send him an email. Slash tilde sir whatever. Too. Or was it? This one. Oh, I loved this one. I absolutely agree on this one. You know, in case anybody's interested. If not, that's fine too. Looking for the man pages. Oh, not that. I want. Where is it? Oh, here. I was on the page already. There we go. I don't see webhooks for build. See webhooks for lists and other things. Hate to have to scrape the build stuff. Huh. Back. Submitting bug reports. The builds. Show response from webhook and build logs. So it sounds like they do have webhooks for this. I'll just probably have to dig for it. Close tickets. Triggers. Oh, look at this. Okay. I'm gonna add. You have to add support for builds. Webhook payloads are signed. Always validate that they came from us. This is at the end. At the end of your job, you can do these things. We do a webhook. Oh, that's it. Okay. So I have to actually configure the build to send back to Hal. That makes sense. Well, that's a solution. Ever tell you the joke about the mathematician? Now, this is only going to make sense if you've worked in places where you have like academics. But there's this mathematician. He's thinking about math and big things, big ideas, and big math. Right? It's in his office. And he's got his pipe there, and he's smoking his pipe and thinking about math. You know, the typical math guy, right? And well, his pipe runs low, and he wants to refill it. So he taps it out over his trash can and stuffs it, packs it in there again, some more tobacco, and lights it up and gets his pipe going again. And a little bit later, after thinking about more big math ideas, he finds that his trash can's on fire. What he must have lit it on fire with his ashes. And so he's startled, and he stands up, and he gets to the other side of his desk, and as he does, the curtains catch fire because the trash can's right next to that, and this room just starts to like grow, and this blaze gets bigger and bigger, and he gets outside of his office, and he sees the fire extinguisher right there in the wall, right next to his office door. And he, a sigh of relief, he says, "Oh, thank goodness, there's a solution," and walks away. That's it. That's the whole joke. But anybody that's worked with a mathematician or for a mathematician, I don't offend any mathematicians. All right, so in here we need to get a, actually let's just make sure this runs. Yes, that is the whole point. He discovers math, something new in math, and it's just discovered. It doesn't use it. Yeah. Usually leaves it up to other people to actually use it. Really, it's a joke for a very specific crowd, I guess. But yeah, it's actually picking on mathematicians for kind of finding a solution and then stopping. Oh, I got some errors here. Well, can't do partial equal on that. Fine. And happy Friday, Shay. But with that running, let's see, do I have email I can respond to? All right, I'm going to create a new email to what time is it? It is 0824. There we go. Oh, processing command. Yes. I think I forgot to wire something up. Process, it just stops there. Oh, that's right, because we created HAL, but HAL doesn't exist over here yet. Because we need to have a with HAL in our webhooks. So when we create our webhook system here, when we build our handler, we're looking for some URL that has slash, something slash webhook notify. Because this is going to be the user, this is the list ID, and that's how we register with their services, how we want to be called. You can see that it's Halsey's Halsey as user and Genesis Dev is the list, and so we're registering for post received events on a specific location on their site for, I guess, that mailing list. So when that mailing list receives a post received, they will tell us about it and give us a webhook into this. Now, so that's what the webhook is. Then I take the user and config and convert it into, the user and list and convert it into a config. Okay. We have different stages here. Then we filter and make sure that it's a post. It's only a post. This. All right, next step, we validate the signature. So we get some stuff out of the headers, the bytes of the body, and call validate signature. That then passes the, let's see, some other stuff. It's the config and the data, the bytes, all the way through. So we untuple one. Then we grab some more headers. Now, it's also possible that this actually rejects the message because a signature could be invalid. We can ensure that only SourceHut is sending us messages. Okay. Then we get the delivery and event. The event will tell us which of these events that we subscribe to we received, so we can dispatch accordingly. And delivery, this is the ID of the delivery. I guess it's for debugging. If we want to say, hey, this post came in malformed, I could send him a bug and give him an ID. All right. In here, we need to hook in and add HAL to these requests. And with clone, now HAL's not clonable, so we'll have to put him in a comic ref count. Yes, of course, you can't find HAL. HAL. Great. HAL. HAL. Oh, great is HAL. Okay. Yep, clone's not satisfied for that, so let's plus hal in a arc, which we need to include. Oh, it's already there. Great. Okay, now we have a different number of arguments. Come into there. Hal. Okay, hal's not used at that point. It's okay. Looks like we gotta do some. I'm gonna pass hal to each one of these. Take that. Let's put it on the other one too. Where it is. That one's unimplemented. Great. So now we have hal and notify post received. Once we get through all of our filters, we get to this process command and we can pass hal. Does that even make sense to do there? I'm rethinking this. How do you delete this file? I'm just going to delete this file. That's yes, command. Okay. Delete. Command, yes. Go back into webhook. There we go. So at this point, we can say hal dot please. Now we give it the project ID. That's going to be the big ID. Yep, config is available there. What if I should call it project? And the task, which doesn't exist yet. Oh, please do that, and we'll await you. Okay, at this point we need to know how to create the task. That doesn't exist. Oh, file not found, yes. Let task. Let's create build. There we go, we'll do that. Actually, there's no result of that. Hal doesn't give us a response yet. Task equals new. And this is going to be the list ID. Or should we just give it the config? We should probably just give it the config. Honor the config. Oh. Oh, goody. Yeah, my email provider that I use, I whined to them that I couldn't add a contact for the email list because it's got a tilde and a slash in the email address, which are valid. All right, config. So I want to rename that to project. It's project config, whatever. I'm gonna clone that and give it the command, which is the message line. Okay. Yep. Could change that. Instead of a list ID, let's do a project. No more list ID. Let's have project. Good. Clone to owned, I think, is what I really want. Oh, whoa, whoa, what happened? There we go. To owned. I think at this point I should probably get the project ID off of the task. The problem here is that it's actually deserialized. I would like a constructor so I could create an ID for this. Guess I could put an ID in the config file, but it's really a generated ID. If somebody wants to clone that, they can. Yeah, that's going to break a bunch of stuff, though. Lifetime specifier for this. There we go. I forgot to borrow self. Ah, yes. Hmm. Oh, it does only take the task now. There we go. You get the task. Give me my lifetime issues. Value of type blah 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 is not blah blah blah. Why? I don't know, that feels weird. We're generating a string, we should just get a string back. Oh, was task moved? Task wasn't moved. Task value borrowed here after move. Oh, it was moved. It was moved right there. I hope it's clonable. I didn't check. The other thing I could do, instead of doing that, would be to get the ID out. But ask a project ID. There we go. That wants a clone, and this just wants a reference. Okay, lifetime stuff. Cannot borrow data in Arc is mutable. True. Alright, let's fix those up. We're passing that through in a couple places. Right. Mismatch types. Oh, is it up? There it is. Oops. YSIW, right bracket, mutex. Good. Just copy paste this one. Good. These are just like, I don't know what these top ones are there. It's alright though. Okay, what else we got? L.lock.wait.please. Oh, only 3 were specified. We're in main. Oh, we have to pass HAL. That's right. We didn't create a HAL yet. That's going to be the third argument. 1, 2, HAL. Yeah, we get mutex there. What did new want? New wanted the project configs. Actually build. Did. Let's run it. It checked out okay. Hey, we subscribed. I'm gonna try just responding to something. What is the time? 0845. I know you can't see this part. I'm just sending an email in response to some other email on that list. Hopefully we triggered this. Oh, we did. We got Al here. Why? Like it stopped way too early. Okay, where is this one? Email body. We've got here. It looks like it begins with this. I mean, there are many lines in there. Strange that it didn't go past there. Did I include like 2 characters, not enough characters? What? Yes, this is the beginning of the body though. Or if we did this. Individual lines? Let's print that out. Debug. Message line. That should be pretty obvious. Do that. So maybe it's not splitting lines correctly. That would be odd, but possible. Okay. It's up and running. I'll reply to that again. Let's see, 0848. I'm gonna say looks good. Include my little timestamp and hell merge. Including timestamps makes it so much easier to test these things. There it goes. Ah, okay, so each line maybe we're just not doing anything inside. Okay, we create a task. We say, please do something. We do that, we run. lock for work should have been expired there. The next one. Yeah, well, it doesn't look like anything's going on. We should here see this message, but we didn't get there. Okay, how far did we get? Please. All right, we have a please. Let's include the task there. Now run. Oh, if it's not active. Oh, it got me again. I'm always doing that. Well, not always. I occasionally do that. So if it's not active, then we want to run the task. Maybe we should just change that to like is pending. All right. Let's remove that. Change it to is pending. There we go. Again. See, the timestamp is 0852. Send that. Let's see, let me double check, make sure it's running. Okay, it's running. Yep, task has been ... Okay, so it was really the exclamation mark, the not, that got me. All right, so that's all wired up now. That's good. Now when we run the task, what do we need to do here? We will probably have to see, we're going to submit a build manifest. We're going to have to include enough information in that build manifest that it can actually call home. It can actually let us know when it's done. Let's see, so we're going to need to create a build manifest. We will need to send the manifest to the server. It'll have to have secrets set up and whatnot. That'll have to be there. Maybe a template for substituting out tokens. Because what would a valid manifest look like? Let's say we went and kicked off a task, right? First, switch from pending to active. Build, let's see, manifest, create. Well, I have to create a build manifest. Submit the build manifest. And that's it for that part of the flow. Then at the end of it, there will be some other webhook will send to us status of the build. Interesting. Okay. Let's start building out the submitting manifests. Okay, we're going to need some docs on this. Let's create a I already have a couple projects set up. Let's just use one of them as a test. We're gonna have to submit some sort of manifest. I know I have a couple manifests here for building things. This one, I want to take me to that actual file. Strange. So I can resubmit the build and edit and resubmit. I can view the manifest here. Oh, interesting. It's got triggers at the end now. Clever. Artifacts, environment. So we'll have to be able to pass all this information in. So I think what we have to do is submit this whole thing so as a body, the API. Okay, let's create a parser for manifests. Let's see, is there anything that we wouldn't do through the build system? I guess there are some things we could approve and mark elements as approved through the API. So I think the workflow there would be that fell down and startled me. Piece of fuzz in my eyelash. Thought it was a spider. Okay, so different types of tasks. You know what? That's what we should probably do at this moment. Parse the task. So what kind of tasks do we have, or rather the command? Because in this task, command is just a string. Let's see, let's call it an action. Task action, a task command. I don't know. We're gonna have merge. What else? Approve. It's maybe some of those states that are on those messages. Come back. Was it? Oh, somewhere here. So approve, reject. Revise. I don't know. That do. Interesting. let's do that. So we'll need revise, supersede, approve, reject, and applied is after it's gone through the build, so after the merge. Okay, back to the code. That list, we have merge, approve, actually revise, the other one's supersede. Reject. Okay, looks like those. Merge is kind of a big action that causes a build to happen. Guess we do test. Say, hey, Hal, test this. And it goes off and it runs a build and maybe just alerts to the mailing list whether or not it passed or what the results were. And merge is a test plus commit. All right, let's make this public. I think we should probably pass that in as a parsed thing. Change that. Toss a comma on the end. All right, now depending on the task, parse the action. Where was that? That's in build action. Ah, here it is. Actually, let's see if the editor will fill that out for us. Extract into variable, no. /AC rat. Missing match arms, yes. I think parse will give us was it from stir or I don't remember where that other enum was. I think we want try from here. probably want this to be lowercase, don't we? Or just militant on it. No capitalization, nothing, no, all lowercase, all lowercase. Okay, let's do, yeah, oh, no, don't do that. Test. This is action test. You know what? I don't want to do it that way. I'll do it this way. Pass it in there. W paste. Insert quote at okay. Action colon. There we go. Multivim to the rescue. Unknown action. Use crate error. Null error. Let's go give it an unknown action. Oh, where's try from? Do a quick search. Convert. Standard convert. We might want that type there. Super Fortnite guy, how's it going? Thank you for the follow 14 hours ago. I missed his stream. I was totally bummed. Really bummed. I didn't see the notification. Talking about how are you doing? Expected enum build colon action found unit. Oh, this. Good, good. Happy Friday. I'm looking forward to the weekend. All right, we need to pass in the action now. Instead. Clone's not satisfied. Why? Oh, action's not clone. Oh, it should be clone. Actually, it's all of those. Yep, active. Yeah, we know, we know. Never constructed. All right. So we've got this. We're building a build bot. Specifically a build bot for Source Hut. Okay, so now we have that and that. That should be piping everything through. Now if we go back to, is it build? No, it's it's in source lib. Yeah, here. All right. I kind of want to move Hal out of here. Let's create, in his namesake, we'll create an AI RS. This is in no way an artificial intelligence, but coming from the movie, it's just fitting. And it's nice and short, easy to type. Unresolved module. AI didn't. It was called AI. Oh, I put it in the wrong directory. Unsubscribe. There we go. Got that. Move AI to source. I have to actually close that buffer. Save again. There we go. Use create build and use, what is it, project? What else do we need? It just looks so funny. AI, hell. Hope it doesn't confuse people. Oh, we had some new goats born. They are cute and adorable. I think they're going to be a keeper. They're both, well, two of them. They are mini Nubians, F1s. So the first breeding between a Nigerian dwarf and a Nubian. So trying to create another line of mini Nubians. To truly have like a full line of mini Nubians, you have to have 6 generations. But the hardest part of doing that is actually getting the source material. That's too cold. I don't want to say it that way. Hardest part is getting the animals. Okay, so we've got that all the way through. Got those patched in. Now we should know which action we're dealing with. Go to HAL or AI. So now, depending on the action, we can actually go and do something. HAL doesn't have a copy of the HTTP client, though. Probably add that HAL can actually make requests. Keep like double muting myself. Where's that start? We have client here. We have a client builder, user agent HAL. Create some subscriptions, etc. I think we want to reuse the client. We're going to give that to HAL. Where is HAL? Oh, here it is. What game am I doing? Sadly, this is not a game. It's a tool that will help the build process for larger systems. I've been using SourceHut lately, kind of like Uro and I'm probably butchering that. I apologize, but he also uses SourceHut, and I thought it would be nice to have a easy system to be able to say, yeah, there's a patch that somebody wants to contribute. I approve this from email. It kicks off a build and merges it. I don't want to have to, for every patch that comes in, do all of the like monotonous steps of testing it, committing it, submitting it. And I want to build up a little system for that. I am using Godot. On Legacy, I'm using Godot as the client and Rust as the backend server. So all the logic, all of. So in case you don't know, wah wah. It's still there, isn't it? Uptime? I forgot what it about. I lost all my commands. I don't know what they are. I need like a commands. But Legacy is a multiplayer game where you have kind of a procedurally generated world. The further you get away from your home, the more dangerous and the more rewarding the world is. It's made of islands, and you can kind of go to common islands, big islands I call them, where you interact with other players. You can do some trading and whatnot, but then you can either go exploring and collecting resources, or exploring and adventuring. So I think there's a little clip somewhere about that, but I don't have that available at the moment. So when we create a new HAL, we're going to give it a copy of our client. Actually, does anything need it after that? Yes, something does need it. Can we clone the client? And what is the type of the client? Let's see, what is this? SourceHut client, HTTP client request. Client. I know it's unused. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for letting us know what type it is. Oh, you have Godot on Linux. How are you liking it? Alright, that looks good there. You like it well? That's good. Yeah, 4 days. It's doing pretty well. I just can never remember my commands, so getting that commands command would probably be beneficial, even if I'm just spamming myself. This is from a TOML file. Oh, just select the keys and print them out. Yeah, it's SQL. It's still in SQLite. All right. So parse the task. We got the task there, and I've got about 7 minutes, maybe 6. Got the task there, and that has the action in it. So depending on the action, we're going to do different things. So if it's approved, we need to approve it. There might not be patches in the list that somebody's saying is approved, so that'll be interesting. How do we do that? Wiki, here we go. Lists. Go to the top. So we can get a list of patch sets for this list. Implies authenticated user. Are these identical? API user, this one here, and why not get mutable? Oh, what are you talking about? Let's go back to the code. Why not get mutable? Oh, instead of entry in line 49? Or get mutable on the... I am using get mutable here. But some map block immutable ID. So work here is a hash map of IDs to lists. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. This whole thing, I see it. Plus some task. Self.work.lock. Await.get mutable. That's a project ID. Yeah, the vacant side. Yeah, this is just to check to see if there is work to do. So if there isn't work, it's okay. That's going to be tasks, plural. Thank you. Ah, that's beautiful. So on the option, I've not used and then. It's let's see. So it must be that if it is something, then it gives it to you and lets you operate on it. I'm Die. Morning. Happy Friday, everyone. Okay. Let's see. That's tasks dot. Oh, I like that. I like using the and then on the option for unwrapping that. That's really nice. And that's a new option in the chain. I see. Nice. Thank you. I appreciate it. Oh, you're trying to compile it on Windows. Has to be the same type. Results have the same things. Nice. Very cool. Well, as you know, it's time for me to get coffee. I gotta bail. Yeah, I like that. I mean, combinators, there are so many, and it's so, just using them is so nice to be able to just see them and use them and understand them. And you get rid of the if with a filter. How do you combine a filter with the if let? Oh, a filter, not filter. Right, task. It's pending. So we want to keep the ones that are pending, right? So we'll filter out everything else. False not, okay. Oh goodness. Yeah, the combinators are awesome. I gotta get more practice in there. Especially for little things like this where you operate on this kind of unwrapping. Oh, please, please do. Please do. I appreciate it. All right. Get status, get to add source. Let's do a quick check. It looks good. Getting functional. Yeah. So what sort of error are you having on Windows, Lambda? You can just drop the iterator combinators for more. Oh, wow. But results, are results also iterators? I wouldn't expect, because what do you iterate over, the error or the okay? Oh, they are. Cannot compile OBS shader filter plus. Wow. I've, and options are iterators over their sums. I see. It's over there. Okays. Got it. Got it. Get effects. GS effect get default value. Reference and function. Blah blah blah. Trying to find the actual error message. Like what does it say? It doesn't like about it. Is it at the bottom? Unresolved externals. Oh, 72 unresolved externals. And Flatten just calls into iter when it's inner type. Oh, I see. Error messages, it's that the symbols aren't found. It's kind of cool that you're making a, I think it is cool that you're making a plugin for OBS using Rust. It's also a link foo thing in the manifest. All right, well, I'm not going to raid anybody, but I'm going to have to stop streaming and head in. But we're free to keep the chat open, so I'm going to bail. Thanks, y'all.